I need Shireen's that printed stuff.
Okay. The prayer.
Yeah. You can start the first line then.
Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahe Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahe. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Bhurvasvaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yona Prachodayat. Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhu Cha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Cha Ramanam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. Okay, so remember the two verses we did of Bhagavad Gita last time? That at the time of death, if we can remember whatever we remember.
God only, firstly thing he said, that highest thing he said, if we can remember God only, moksha ho jayega hamara. But then the second one he said that whatever you think of, that's what you will get at the time of death. And we had already discussed why that happens. There's a science behind it. Whatever is your main thing in your life, that will show up at the end. So.
By the way, I just was listening. I didn't listen fully. When Swamini Vimala Nand from Chinmayanand, and her talk, she started with this: "You become what you
think."
Very beautiful talk. Yes, so I'll send to you once I've heard that. I
know who she is. She is like a round face.
No, beautiful girl, and she's like a doctor, must be PhD.
Okay.
But anyway.
Send me. So because sometimes I know the faces, I don't know the name.
Unless I listen, I don't send. So that's why I.
Okay, when you finish,
that's why people who think always crooked, their faces become crooked also.
Yes, because it
manifests. No, because you get this thing in the forehead.
What?
Theories आती है ना जो when you are upset.
See जो
theories जैसे बोलते हैं ना theories पड़ गई.
वो तो खैर हम लोग का wrinkle आएगा तो भी पड़ जाएंगी.
नहीं wrinkle वो different.
But I think that what you are trying to say that जो मन का भाव होता है वो बाहर निकल ही जाता है. So इसलिए it's like कितना भी कोई छुपाए 2 मिनट के लिए छुपा सकता है बाकी तो दिख ही जाएगा उसका. You know. So that's what it is. So everybody was on the same page about that. So there are two more very important verses, and in fact it was interesting when I was looking at this next verse that we're going to do here. It was exactly what Kamla had brought up that point. Yeah. It's too bad she's not here today.
She can listen in the
video. It is exactly what what Krishna Bhagavan is saying over here, and that Swamiji interpreting for us, because otherwise it can be confusing what it says. So this is verse 7 of Bhagavad Gita, chapter 8. And so I will chant and then we'll go into it.
Verse 7, it's on chapter 8.
Yeah.
I'm on that.
Tasmat. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu. Mamanusmara yuddhacha. Mamanusmara yuddhacha. Mayarpito mano buddhir. Mayarpito mano buddhir. Mame vaishyasa samshayam. Mame vaishyasa samshayam. Okay, you want to... Shireen, you want to read the English translation?
So therefore, at all times, remember me and fight with mind and intellect fixed
or absorbed in me, you shall doubtless come to me alone.
So in this one, what he's trying to say, so first he told you that what the science is, right? That this is what's going to happen. Therefore, he's saying, at all times remember me. And then he's telling him to fight. And then we will go into it, how we can apply to us. With mind and intellect fixed on me, you shall doubtless come to me alone. So now he's telling him that it's a practical thing he's telling, because usually people get confused about meditation and religion and all. They think, oh, मेरा ये पूजा का time है, बस इधर कर लिया, and that's what it is. That's not what he's saying. And I think that this remember me constantly, the way Chinmayananji has explained in this, and also we have hashed it out. It's like, like how people who are singers, when they are singing, they need that tanpura in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's a constant, like a keeping you on track.
Right.
Right.
That's exactly what it is. That once you know who Bhagwan is and who are you actually, then you can have that in back of your mind constantly, and then you do everything else from that perspective.
But
So,
when you think about God, what shape or form?
Yes, so then that's going to come
that,
in.
That is my problem.
Okay, because that was not only all of our problem, and Arjun's problem, and everybody who meditates is their problem. In fact, this is what my teacher used to explain to me, or all of us. We say, okay, go meditate, go fix your mind on God. Hey, if you don't even know who God is, how are you going to fix your mind?
Yeah.
Because you have a wrong notion about it. You have, God is this murti, God is this energy, God is this.
And there are so
It's
many
total
murtis.
confusion.
Yeah.
Yes. So he starts off, this is chapter 8. So in Bhagavad Gita, just to give you a little background, first 6 chapters, he's talking, well, let me back up a little bit, because I think this is important for us to know that how Krishna approached the whole thing. So Arjun was all dejected and all that. And the reason he was dejected, because the core of the problem was he forgot his real identity. His spiritual identity, he forgot. So usko moh ho gaya. He's thinking only of the world. He forgot that, So we call it like identity crisis he had, basically.
Yeah.
So उसको कैसे बाहर निकाले? तो पहले तो उसको थोड़ा डांटा वाटा उन्होंने कि भाई, why are you acting, like a, almost he said a bad word in a sense कि you are being napunsak.
Yeah.
Get up and fight. Why are you acting like that? And then you call yourself wise? Wise people don't, cry for people who are gone, because we are eternal beings. So then he told them the highest knowledge in chapter 2. Like we were talking about how Vedanta goes with the highest knowledge. So obviously Arjun kind of got out of his a little bit of depression, but he was not convinced at all. Like he had a lot of questions. So then Krishna Bhagavan started explaining more and more and more, further. So it's going, and then chapter 6 is about meditation. So he told them, how to meditate, what to do, how to sit, what kind of place, and everything that's in chapter 6. But then the same question comes, and he said, after you withdraw your attention from the world, you put the attention on me. The question is, who is me? Correct? So then chapter 7, 8, and other 6 chapters starts about who Bhagwan is in detail. And then, but it's a very subtle subject, so it has to be opened up. So it's like it's like a, what you call that, one structure which has a base, and then you build it up on it slowly. So you have to understand from the base down what it is. So today we are doing 2 verses. Uske baad wala jo hai na, it starts who God is. So it gives pointers, meaning indicative definitions, they call it. You cannot describe in one shot. It's something like, hey, what is America? America has so many facets. I cannot explain somebody in one shot what America is. Then I'll say, oh, this is the financial capability of America. This is this capability. This is how, you know what I'm saying? So like that, he goes more deeper and deeper and deeper. So that's how we're going to learn. And once I know, then the true devotion comes. Otherwise, it's not going to come. Like, the way they were explaining, like Chinmayananji was explaining, if I say, meditate upon halabulu, So what is halabul? I don't know what it is. So it's like first you know who God is, then you can meditate upon it. So then we will do those verses, the indicated. But now coming back to this one, he says that remember me and fight. So now the question will come, on one hand you're telling me to fight, and then other hand you're telling me to remember me. How that's possible? So then he's giving him, that's why I gave the Tanpura example. Mm-hmm. So we have to do our duty every day. And everybody's duties are different. And that's why I was saying last time that we really cannot advise anybody, hey, you do this or you don't do this, because I don't know the bigger picture in somebody's life. Because people, we have a habit. तुमको तो ऐसा करना चाहिए. अभी तुम्हें क्या मालूम उसके पीछे पीछे क्या है? Why that? So only that person can make that judgment, but you can learn the Vedantic view, then you will know how to learn, how to do it. That's one point. So basically what he's saying is, firstly, Swamiji makes a point here that when he's saying fight, there is a context of why he's telling Arjun fight, because that was his job. And he was not doing his job. So he's saying fight. And it has a double meaning for us, he said, because we are every day, what are we doing? We are fighting the battle of life. And sabka battle alag alag hai, you know. We all have fighting a battle. So now how do I do my duties? Then that comes in, that, you know, remembering me. And then this is what he said. It's something like, best example is of an actor. When the actor, like recently they had those awards, right? They give the best award, best actor, and also let's look at the life of the. When he's acting, somewhere in back of his mind, he knows who he is. It's like Amitabh Bachchan playing a coolie. Whenever he's playing a coolie, somewhere in the back of mind, he knows he's Amitabh Bachchan. Yeah. अगर वो सचमुच कुली की तरह एक्ट करने लगे कि घर जाके करेगा, तो उसकी बीवी उसको पागल खाने में भेज देगी. You know, so that's what they are saying, that once you know your true identity, that you are that,
right,
then when you do act from that perspective, so many great things will happen. You will do the best job. You will not get perturbed by small things. You will be able to handle the small pinpricks of life. That's what he's saying. And then other example he gives, like, once you get educated, say in college, you get bachelor's degree, PhD, समझो किसी को हो गया, that person can never act like an illiterate. Whatever he does in his life, that education is behind him. He will act from learning that stuff, and then he will, function in his life. He can never forget. So once people who get totally established in that higher self, it always shows through in all their work, and then they are more at peace. So that's what it means by remembering me constantly. Because he's saying that what happens is when you half understand this thing, then people think, oh my God, I'm not meditating, so I'm doomed. Hey, you can be taking a jhadu and that can become a puja.
In a temple or anything,
Yeah. So it has nothing to do with what you're doing, and but you should choose your duties correctly and then divinize them. That's what he's saying, basically. So, anybody has any additional thing to say, comments?
Did you want to read? Because you went through it, thoroughly.
You mean, let me see if there are any good points that I...
Actually, this whole thing is about several births ka practice.
Yes. So
धीरे
होता है, but at least हमको पता होना चाहिए क्या करना है हमें. That's the thing. So another thing is,
you really need a very close enlightened soul to guide you, because then वो तुमको एकदम पकड़ लेता है. Like I remember once you were sitting with Bhagwan and somebody said, अब हमको सबसे प्यार है. तो हम बोलते सब कौन? सब कौन? So immediately, that you're saying it in word, but that true this thing, otherwise you will not even say sub. You will not use that word in this context.
Instead of saying loosely things, you know the true meaning of it. So another thing he said very important over here, in Hinduism, religion is not divorced from life. So basically, it's like he's saying that they are intimately connected with each other, like head and trunk. So it's not like, hey, I'm religious on Sunday and then next 6 days, it doesn't matter. No, it's a totally intermingled thing, whatever you do. And then the other point somewhere he made is that when we are working in the world, half of our time is totally wasted and like, oh, ab kya hoga, ye, like doubts and anxieties and what if, and last time aisa kiya to gadbad ho gaya. See, your mind is going here and there. He's saying, take all that energy and surrender to God with that. So you can, even that energy, you can put it over there. So there are many ways you can try to, and that's why, like, some people, those people who are not so educated and all that, but somehow they have a very great faith in God. You've seen those people. Like, in my own family, my mom was, she knew how to read and write and all, but she didn't go to college or anything.
Those people, because they never...
But they had a complete faith in, Bhagwan jo karta hai, अच्छा ही करता है. Some people may just say it, but other people actually believe in that. Yeah. And like they had to face so many with, 5 children. हम लोग 2 में ही पागल हो रहे हैं, at least. They had 5, 10 children. And so, they had somewhere that some kind of faith inside. We may think, they didn't study Vedanta, this, that, and all that, but they were a lot better off because they had that. They were thinking of God a lot.
Actually, what comes in the way is education, because then you see everything as logic. And actually, truth is above logic. It's above logic.
Yeah.
So it's like,
you're always thinking of logic, logically, and logically you will never be able to get it. You have to get it illogically.
Yes. From inside, not illogically.
It's like
you
going
just have
beyond.
to get it,
Knowing the
when the time
limitations.
comes, you just get it.
Yeah.
I think what it is, knowing the limitations of intellect. We have, like what Joe was saying, that in the end, when you have so much faith in that higher, you drop it. And then you just go by your intuition. And that's exactly another point that when I was reading this, I saw that what he was saying, that when you are constantly doing that, your mind and heart and everything gets integrated totally. And you don't waste your energy, and then the intuitive mind takes over. The universal mind, like he was saying. And you have so much faith in that universal mind, and it is guiding you totally correctly. And once in a while it does happen to us, like, when some situation is there, intuitively you feel you should be doing this. And that feeling is so strong, and if somebody asks you to give a logic, you may not be able to verbalize that logic. Yeah. But you just know in your heart somewhere it is the right thing to do. And you are at peace when you do it, something like that. So I think that we all kind of experience that. But he's just saying that when you are doing this kind of sadhana, that intuitive mind comes up more and more, and then you start working from that. So,
in fact, when we were studying Ayurveda and all, so at the end of the lecture, or even Iyengar, at the end of it, you have to say that after studying all this, then the intuition has to take over. इससे अच्छा इतने सारी जड़ी बूटियां है तो कौन सा पता चलेगा कौन सी बूटी,
it's like the booty speak to them.
डॉक्टर लाल वो बूटी की आपको पिक्चर सामने आ जाएगी.
That's exactly, and I think that you have experience with some people who do that. उनका कुछ color change हो जाता है, and like one of them, somebody told me this true incident कि एक आदमी का कुछ अंधा हो गया था या something like that, and he went to this one Babaji who had a siddhi, so he said, उसने बुलाया उसको, बोला वहाँ जाके ना वो एक फलानी जड़ी बूटी एक प्लांट मिलेगा, वो निकाल के ले आ, उसका रस निकाल के आँख में डाले, ठीक हो जाएगा. So what bizarre thing, and actually वो ठीक भी हो गया. क्या हुआ कुछ, the guy knew that if he does this he will become, that's it. उसमें whether you believe it or not, that person is saying it to you. So last paragraph he says, that when as you think, so you become. So that's why you shall come to me. So what is happening is constantly you have that tanpura going in the back about, God or Brahman or that's who I am. Continuously you do that. Even if you are working in the world, whatever mundane thing you are doing, your mind is purifying, and in the end you can get, to the highest. That's what he's talking about.
उसकी शक्ति से सब हो रहा है.
हाँ, अगर ये भाव कंटिन्यूसली बना रहे तो तुमको मोक्ष मिल जाएगा. वो
तो सुबह वो भाव लाना चाहिए.
I mean, India में tradition तो वही है.
Rolling in the correct direction, but till the end of the day.
That's why they say, सुबह की पूजा करो. I mean, they have all the right thing, but उसका रूप इतना बिगड़ गया. फिर वो पूजा करते हैं तो फिर यहाँ घंटी बजा रहे हैं, उधर माइंड इज इन द मिल्क, कौन आया कि नहीं, घंटी दूसरा बज रही है, खाना बनाना है, ये करना है. It's like, yeah, but if she's thinking खाना बना रहा है because that's my duty, because it's because of God, then it's okay. But it's like adjustments that we have to do. Anyway, so shall we move to the next one? Anybody has any other thing to add? So the next one is saying, well, let's chant. Abhyasa yoga yuktena
Abhyasa yoga yuktena
chetasana gamina
Chetasana yagamina
Paramam Purusham Divyam
Paramam Purusham Divyam
Yati Parthanu Chintayan.
Yati Parthanu Chintayan.
Okay, want to read that? With the mind.
With the mind not moving towards any other thing, made steadfast by the method of habitual meditation and constantly meditating on the Supreme Purusha, the resplendent, O Partha, he goes to him.
So then now he's just talking about it, that what happens with this when the mind not moving towards any other thing. So now we know in what context, but here is also talking about when we sit in meditation. So remember we talked about the last thought at death. So Swamiji interprets that kind of sentence in two different ways. One is a physical death, and that's also true, that physical death mein jo last hoega, that will determine what happens to us. But in meditation, the death of the ego he's talking about. That when the individuality is gone and you merge with that higher. So that technique he's telling over here, this is applying more to that made steadfast in a method of habitual meditation, constantly meditating upon the Supreme Purusha. The resplendent is like the Divya word used kiya unhone. So it is Divya, it has a double meaning because they have Purusha and Prakriti. I don't know if you have heard of those two terms, right? You have Purusha and Prakriti. Yeah, Purusha and Prakriti. So isliye Purusha ka hai because that is also the power behind all our senses. Isliye Divya. Devata jisko bolte hain na, they are like power behind our senses basically. That's why they are Varun Devta and Surya Devta, because without light I cannot see. No matter how great my equipment is, in dark and I cannot see, or without water I cannot do certain things, I mean I cannot taste my food without water, so things like that.
वो पुरुष प्रकृति का ये है कि पुरुष प्रकृति and like Indian philosophy, Vedanta also has grammar. तो वो grammar में जो है पुरुष means, in other words, let me put it as Shiv. That is the supreme power, pure consciousness, in other words. When that pure consciousness has manifested, so that Shakti, वो pure consciousness की शक्ति है ना, that has this thing, that is Prakriti, Purusha Prakriti. तो शिव पार्वती ये वो जो है ना पुरुष प्रकृति
का representation.
उधर है. That's what it means.
So,
and then all that karma indriya, jnana indriya, ये सब उसमें manifestation में आ जाती हैं.
They're going to touch upon it in this one also, our Upanishad.
Yeah, we did
so,
it.
So then one very important thing he talks about over here is, okay, the term death mentioned, then he says, death of the ego, brought about through the steady practice of meditation. This stanza is added to the discourse to show that after the sublimation of the limited ego, one can live in the fully God awareness as a liberated God man, even here while living this very life. Because that's what Bhagavad Gita says, it's called Jivan Mukti, it says. It's not like after death moksha mil jai. No, you can have moksha and then still live in the body and function. That's what he's talking about. So he's saying that, and then very important thing he mentioned, that one who is practicing, jisko mil gaya na moksha, then he lives in the world, that the word he has uses, I don't know how to pronounce this, sojourner. And huh? You know that word? Sojourner. Traveler. There you go. It's like a temporary stay and not native of it. Because hum log ka yehi problem hai. I remember there was one person in Houston, he was a doctor who had turned like, people said he was self-realized, So he changed his profession and then he was just meditating and talking to people and all that. His sentence, I remember, you have come in this world to rejoice, not to get involved. But we do exactly opposite. हम लोग रोते रहते हैं और involved जाते हैं. We have not come to get involved. Your kids are not what you think they are. They have only come through you. You know that famous Khalil Gibran ka, that that your kids have only come through you. They have not. Don't think that they are yours. You're just a body that gave birth to it. That's it. Boom. It's a slap on our faces, but that's true. So he's saying that that's what it is, that he lives like a traveler and not native of it, and then his mind is constantly resting upon single pointedly, and then he's saying that all kind of different upasana, actually they are also pointing towards the same thing to do. And there comes, this is where I thought of when Joe was talking about that with such well-tuned up and nobly adjusted instrument of perception and comprehension, intuitive realization of the divine, the self becomes a very easy experience for that person. And he says that if you reach that stage, then you go to him. So basically that is the sadhana. Okay, so and then the one word he used is anuchintayam. So he's saying chintayam means to meditate, and anu, a word he has used, continuous flow of thought. So that continuity should not be broken. And then he also said that in the previous one, that if you don't have that continuous thing, that's when what happened to Arjuna happens. You have shattered personality. And all these problems and dejection and all that can come in. So that is a result of, because he forgot who he was. So that's the danger if you don't have a continuous thing. So that's what. And then from next time, Shireen, he tells you the pointers, what to use in meditation, and just to give you just a glimpse of it. He's saying omniscient, the ancient, the ruler of minuter than the atom, nourisher, support of all, form inconceivable, effulgent like the sun, and beyond darkness. Those are the pointers. So there are many pointers given in Vedanta to hang on to. And each one is like, Swamiji opens it up, why they're saying it, why, and then you get, oh, now I know what God is. So that's what it is.